All right, hope everybody's well. Good thing is that Donald Trump is our new president, whether you like it or not. It is what it is. He's the new president. And I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that because I'm happy for everybody around the world. Everybody around the world should be happy for him being the new president because it's already different, him being in. Seems like everybody calmed down. Everybody's ready to go. And he's ready to change things. And that's a good thing because the world was going in a really bad direction. And like all kinds of crazy directions. So anyway, I'm glad he's in. He is my boy, and I ain't afraid to say it. Anyway, hope everybody's well. Let's get on another topic now. Okay, so we're going to talk about, maybe the time I had to like turn myself into prison. Okay, let's talk about that day. All right, probably one of the worst days ever, but we'll talk about it. So it was early morning, at my house in Montville, and all my cousins, my brother, everybody, the whole family was there, and we're having, drinks, champagne, whatever, eating, and drank a lot that morning. So therefore, when it was time to go, like around 10 o'clock, I think I had to surrender myself around 12 or whatever, 1 o'clock. So we were pretty much all smashed and driving myself to prison, pretty much. My ex was in the truck, my brother, everybody was there, my cousin, and it sucked. You know what I mean? Put it that way. It did suck. Leaving my little babies at home. I never forget Melania in the window. It was terrible. Anyway. So next, we're driving down. I remember we stopped. I had some Burger King, and then drove to Fort Dix. Okay. Not a very pleasant place. You know what I mean? Not a place you really want to be at. So we had to drive. I wasn't driving, but my cousin or my brother was driving. I forget. I think it was my brother. So we drove down, and the worst part was obviously saying goodbye to everybody, walking in, and realizing that I'm going to be there for the next 3 years, 36 months. So once I checked myself in, said goodbye to everybody, my ex-wife, my brother, everybody, it was very painful, very, very painful walking in there, knowing that once you walk in, you're not going to be able to walk out for 36 months. That's a bitch. Anyway, so I walked in, signed myself in, and they knew I was hammered. All right, so basically, they put me in a detox room. Okay, so every so many hours, they'll come and check my, to check to see how drunk I am. The test, the breathalyzer. So every time they came, it just kept, it was always the same. So I was literally inside that room all day, all right, till like the afternoon, like literally like 5 hours or whatever it was, 6 hours before I started, before I guess wasn't drunk, wasn't over the limit, let's just say. Anyway, they take me, after all day being in there, just pretty much sleeping it off. I get up. So now I got people waiting for me out there. They know I'm coming in, so there's people waiting for me out there, Italians, you know what I mean? Bunch of mob guys and, so forth. And, with the Italians. So, obviously you go in, everybody sticks to who, all the Italians stick together, all the Americans stick together, Latinos, the, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and, everybody's got their own little gang. The blacks, Mexicans, and that's just how it is in there. So now, after sleeping in there all day, you know what I mean, getting undressed, getting all my belongings in, which I didn't really take much with me. I took the crappiest jeans with me and the crappiest whatever because I knew it was just going to be stored away, and I knew when I was getting out, I would get regular clothes again. As I was getting undressed and, They got to check everything, bend over, cough, beep, beep, bop, bang, all this bull BS. So finally, when I was like, okay, not really sober, but somewhat sober, they took me over to the medical center, where I had to get checked and, make sure everything was okay. So when I went in, obviously my blood pressure was high, you know what I mean? This was high, uh, stress, beep, bop, bop. Anyway, they put me on this diet and all this crap, no pills or anything, but they put me on a diet. And I remember driving over to the medical building. They had me like in one of those little carts, golf carts, whatever they are. So I was in a cart, and they're driving me over to the building there. And then you hear the guys in the track over there, like, what the hell? What is it? What is he having? A heart attack already? He just got here. Bah, bah, bah. You hear all these guys saying all this crap. So, and that's just how it is. So, you got the track, just like you see on TV. You got the track. You got everybody sitting around, all the different, you know, all the different guys, the Italians, this, that, and the other thing. They're all just sitting around the track doing whatever. Who's walking? Who's exercising? You know, who's doing nothing? Who's picking their nose? Who's doing whatever? You know what I mean? And basically, that's it. So I get over to the medical center, like I said, and they check me out of medical. So now I get into my dormer where I was staying, into the room, I should say, the dormer, right? So in the room that I was staying. And I meet a couple of guys, you know what I mean? We start hanging out, blah, blah, blah. And obviously the Italian guys come and find me, you know what I mean? They give me my bag, you know what I mean, with everything, some stuff just to get through until you go to commissary and buy what you need, you know what I mean? So they give you your toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, this, that, and the other thing, all this other stuff that you need. Food, all kinds of stuff. So I get in there. We got to go get our mattresses. I remember we had this one guy. Oh, geez, I forget his name. Good kid, you know what I mean? But he was doing some time. He was with the Italians. Geez, what is his name? Whatever his name was. This guy, I don't know how the hell, this guy's like got a limp on him and he's walking, he's got this limp. But seems like a harmless, good kid, you know what I mean? And he was. He was actually a good guy. So he's got this limp and he's carrying my mattress. And the mattress is pretty damn big. I'm like, you want me to help you with that? No, don't worry about it. I got it. He's got it on his shoulder and he's carrying it around. The guy's kind of handicapped. He looked like a little bit, right? So he carries the mattress upstairs to my room, lays the mattress out, and, whatever I need, come and get me, blah, 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 blah. So we started out the first night in there, you know what I mean? It was all right, you hang it out. It hasn't really sunk in yet. So, I mean, you're still sitting like, what the hell's, I can't believe I'm here, blah. So, get over to the yard over there. I meet everybody, all the Italians and stuff like that. And I introduce myself. They're all a bunch of guys sitting around. You got who's from this family, who's from that family, whatever. They're just all hanging out. But it was cool. So I hung out with this one guy. I think his name was, whatever his name was, Mike or whatever. So I think he was with the Gambino family. I meet up with him, and he was friends with my cousin, and then a bunch of other people too that that knew that they were in there. Got a hold of them and knew that I was coming in, so they were ready for me and had everything ready for me. So we go, we meet. You know what I mean? We're talking, we're hanging out, we're walking around the track. He's telling me, what to do, what not to do in there. The whole schmeal. How to act, you know what I mean? And, to make sure you mind your business, do this, do that. That was the first day. We go eat, and then you got a TV room. You go to a TV room at night, you know what I mean? You watch whatever TV after you eat. Or you go work out, you go do whatever the hell you want, you know what I mean? You go play pool. And that was the first night. So now the second day, we're in, and, you get up, you go to the chow hall, you have breakfast, go work out, walk the track, you know what I mean, until noon. And, noontime you go eat, because it's all different divisions that go eat and everything. And, well, actually, no, I should say everybody goes in at once. Yeah, everybody goes in at once, the big chow hall. So they have actually had two of them on the west side, and then on the east side they had like one big one. So, and I was on the west, so everybody would rush over. Like you got to see these guys like rushing over, like the food was gonna, that we're gonna run out of food or something. So just to get in the front line, you know what I mean? Like little kids, everybody's like running over there. So anyway, I just walk over, get in line. You know what I mean? We're all getting online. This is like the first day having lunch, and we just waiting online and getting our food. You got to sit down. Now you're assigned at different tables. You're assigned with the table with the Italian guys. You know what I mean? And that's how it was. You know what I mean? So every day you got the same table. Now I was only assigned for like 2 weeks. Over and after 2 weeks they decide whether you're staying on the west side or you're going to the east side. So now I got used to the west side. You know what I mean? So I was getting adapted to it. You know what I mean? Not that I liked it. So of course the first week I get to, go through the routine, you know what I mean? Doing the same thing every day, you know what I mean? Going to work out, meeting this guy, meeting that guy. I think the second day or third day we're walking the track, right? And you know how you see the gangs, you know what I mean? Just like you see on TV, they walk the track. Before you know it, these guys get knifed. Two guys get like shanked. I mean, and you didn't see a thing. It was like so fast, So two guys get shanked, and that was that. So after these two guys get shanked, I was like, okay. And I go, I didn't even see anybody pull anything out. So they were pretty quick with these things, with these shanks. I mean, and they were like good at it too. So these son of a guns, they just walk right by you before you know it, like just like you see in the movies. Same thing is in there. And now this was a low, mind you. It wasn't maximum security or anything like that. It was a low. So anyway, after seeing that, I was like, okay. I was like, they don't play over here. So I was like, all right, I got to watch my ass a little bit. So the guys were schooling me, listen, just do this, be respectful, don't whatever, just mind your business, do whatever. And I was like, yeah, I really don't want to be bothered with these guys anyway. It's not like I really want to hang out with them or walk around the track and start shanking each other, you know what I mean? So it's not like I really wanted to hang out with those guys. So I stuck to, the guys that I hung out with over there. We went to the gym every day, you know what I mean? We did whatever, then you had the guys that would like lift all these weights, heavy weights, like crazy, whatever. And I was just going in there to just work out and relax. And then in that side over there, you had like a wait period. All right. So you had to like get in there and you only had 1 hour to work out. So you had to work out and get done and get the hell out because then the next, crew was coming in to work out. So you only had so much time, you know what I mean? And they got me in the slot, you know what I mean, in there because I knew these guys. Otherwise, you'd have to figure out your slot and get in there and do whatever. So I went in with the Italian guys and I worked out with them, and pretty much you had 1 hour to work out, and you had to like do what you had to do and get the hell out. And then whatever else you want to do in the yard, of course, you do in the yard. You want to do push-ups, you want to walk the track, you want to run, you want to do whatever in the yard. That's a whole different story. And that's what we did, So I got the routine down in there. So I got used to that side over there, with the track and weights and eating and whatever. And I mean, this place had like, I mean, they took me around. I was like, who had a bakery, that made cakes, sold that, who sold this, who sold moonshine, who sold whatever. I mean, it was crazy. All right. Guys walking around dressed up as girls. I mean, it was insane. So I was like, man, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? I'm like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? But I was like, whatever. So I just rolled with whatever was going on. And I mean, people drank a lot in there. I mean, they would like get these, bottles of moonshine that they would make. They weren't cheap. They cost about $100. You know what I mean? A bottle, like a 1 liter bottle or whatever. And they just get drunk at night. You know what I mean? And a lot of guys, you would see a lot of guys getting drunk who got real drunk and got out of control, and who got real drunk and was just okay. But this stuff was like, some of it was like, like rocket fuel. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, that they would, the way they made it too was crazy, because they would make it out of like, they would get this plastic. I don't know how it didn't melt, but they knew how to cool it with the water, and They had the stinger. They called it a stinger, which was an electric thing. So they would hotwire the stinger to the light, take the light apart in the bathroom, and that's how they would get the electricity. Put it in there, heat the water up, and that's what would make the moonshine. All right. But before all that, they got to also get. Some people made it with honey. All right. Other people got fruits from the chow hall, which was the where you went to eat, and they had connections to get fruits, apples, oranges, potatoes, whatever they could get. They would get it, put it in a bag, actually take sinks apart, take toilets out of the wall, hang them in the walls in there, and they would just ferment in these plastic bags till they were ready to, go through the filtration process to make liquor. All right. So the more sugar in there, because fruits and everything like that make sugar, that's what makes liquor. Okay. Or you just did it straight honey. Straight honey was the best. But the fruit and everything, if you got all oranges and you got old oranges and apples and whatever you did, potatoes, that was okay too. And that's how they made it. I mean, they would like literally have it hanging in ceilings. They had such a system going, these guys. It was crazy. And they had a hell of a business going too, these guys. Mostly were the Mexicans. They had some white guys that knew how to do it, but mostly were Mexicans. And I tell you, they had a hell of a business. They made more money in prison, all right, than they probably did outside of prison, because they were selling this moonshine. They sold so many bottles of this stuff a week. So the guy that was in charge obviously had to pay everybody that was making it. But I mean, I would say these guys literally made, I don't know, 2,500, 3,000 a week, if not more. I would say probably more. And people bought it every day. There was guys that drank all the time. There was guys that just drank on the weekends, but it was always going around. And there was always somebody selling something in there. You know what I mean? They got drugs in there. They got cigarettes. Who would sell cigarettes? Who would sell drugs? Who would sell? I mean, they had everything in there. And obviously, they got it in through the guards. So yeah, it's a pretty lucrative business for the guards, for you know everybody that's getting it in. I mean, they had even drones sometimes, flying these things in and dropping them. But that was a little risky. But they did. They had all kinds of ways of getting these, contraband in there. And look, don't get me wrong. When they come and search and they catch you, you go in the hole. You know what I mean? And possibly getting more time added to your sentence. So I didn't get involved in any of that crap. I just basically, you know, did my thing. I would buy some moonshine once in a while and get drunk, sometimes on the weekend, just to get my mind off of things. But other than that, that's as far as it went. And I would chill out with just a few decent guys. You know what I mean? There was just one guy. Geez, I can't think of his name, but anyway, he had a 30-year sentence, and he was in my room. Decent guy. There was another guy as well. So it's a few decent guys that I hung out with that I could say were actually decent people. There was a lot of decent guys in there. I mean, you had lawyers in there. You had, doctors. I mean, you had so many different, you know, things that people just getting in trouble for really stupid things. You know what I mean? I can't believe doctors getting in trouble for like the dumbest things. Like I'm talking about like selling lab stuff or whatever the hell, whatever it might be. You know what I mean? It was always just something stupid. Getting a kickback for from the labs that they recommend the people to go to. You know what I mean? Which I don't see what the big deal is. If somebody asks what lab should I go to, and you go there, and then the lab's giving them a kickback for getting them customers, I don't know why that's a crime, but it is. And I've seen people, doctors lose their licenses over that, go to jail for that. I mean, it was insane. It was really, really insane. Some of the crap, the dumbest crap ever. And, the lawyers that were very smart lawyers disbarred, and, I would talk to a lot of them. And then, of course, you had murderers, you had pedophiles in there, you had mobsters. I mean, you had everything in there. You name it, you had it in there. You had, you know, straight up, gang, whatever guys, you know what I mean? And they were in there. They were all in there. And the gangs didn't play around. All right. So now, if you had a problem, and there was a problem in there, the guards knew about it, and they would try to have the two head guys talk it out and squash the, whatever the problem is before it got out of hand. But a lot of times it got out of hand. A lot of times guys would get stabbed. A lot of times people were in critical condition. I remember one time they had to airlift a guy out of uh, out of Fort Dix there. You know what I mean? And now, mind you, this is still when I'm on the west side. I didn't even begin anything from the east side. All right. So after 2 weeks, this is the first 2 weeks in, this is all happening. And I remember the first guy, all right, that when I first, actually, this one guy was in, the guy didn't have that much time left. You know what I mean? And he had a visit, and this colored guy was messing with this white guy. And the white guy, something about the TV or whatever, So the white guy's look, I don't want no problems, whatever. And the black guy kept messing with him, kept messing with him. Finally, the white guy couldn't take it anymore. And he basically just lost it. All right. I believe the black guy put his hands on him and did whatever. So the white guy was like, look, man, I'm going to tell you right now, don't put your hands on me. All right. So the guy put his hands on him again. The guy said, you got a problem? Let's go over here, whatever. So anyway, they ended up going, in the other room or whatever. And the white guy knew how to fight, obviously. He was like into martial arts and everything like that. And he basically knocked this guy pretty much out cold, knocked him out cold. And the guy ended up hitting his head onto the one of the radiators or pipes or whatever. And the guy died. All right. So now the guy died. The black guy died. And this guy gets sent to the hole for protecting himself. Now, he was in there for like over 3 months, almost 6 months under investigation. Blah, 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 blah. So now he's in the hole for 6 months because of this guy messing with him. You know what I mean? This piece of shit, basically. And the white guy was, finally, he didn't get charged for murder, but if he did get charged for murder, the guy was getting out probably in less than a year. Would have had to spend maybe another who knows how many years because of this ass. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of things you had to, watch in there and, learn how to, if you could avoid things, you always avoid it. You know what I mean? But if you couldn't, you couldn't. So that was the first 2 weeks in on the west side over there, So obviously, I was like used to that side now, you know what I mean? I was like, all right, you know what I mean? Every day we do our little routine, you know what I mean? I go visit the guys in their rooms, you know what I mean? They would be cooking, you'd have the guys cooking in there, and, they would invite us to eat, and, everybody made whatever they made, you know what I mean? Who made pasta, who made sauce, who made this, pretty much, you can make anything in there, but you had to make everything out of microwaves, who had stingers, you know what I mean, to make the sauce, who had, all kinds of gadgets they had, to make things. And they had metal pots, you know what I mean? So whatever you could get in there and whatever you could buy in there from people leaving or whatever they give you. So it gets all handed down, you know what I mean, as people leave and this, that, and the other thing. So, we, and I believe that was right after the holidays. So Easter, I believe I spent on the west side with those guys. Yeah, so I believe I spent Easter on the west side, and we ate. They made some whatever they made. You know what I mean? Whatever you can buy and make in there, you make. You know what I mean? Whether it's tuna fish, whatever the hell you can make. You know what I mean? But they always managed to make rice and managed to do. The meals were actually not. They were okay. You know what I mean? But they also got a lot of stuff from the kitchen. You know what I mean? And so that would help. They would get chicken, you know what I mean? A lot of chicken. They would get a lot of this, a lot of that from the kitchen. And you would pay with tuna packs. Tuna packs or macks. You know what I mean? They call them macks, like basically packs full of mackerel. And they were like valued at $1. So one of those macks was $1. A tuna fish was $1. You know what I mean? And they'd keep these things in circulation. That's what they use for money. So sometimes these guys would have so much damn tuna packs, this, that, and the other thing. Used to be stamps, but then they changed it to tuna and mackerel and all that. And a lot of these guys that sold all the stuff and did whatever in there had a lot of this mackerel, you know what I mean, that they would use for kitchen food and whatever it might be, buying cakes from this guy or buying liquor from that guy. That's what you would use. Or sometimes you had people from the outside, you know, put money in the books, for, to their families, and you did it like that as well. So there's a lot of different ways you could do it, and stamps too. So the stamps were pretty big as well. And that's how you paid for things really in there. The stamps are a lot easier. So if you got stamps, it was better. You know what I mean? So the stamps were definitely a lot easier than carrying around Max and tuna fish to pay, this and anything. You just get some stamps and you just pay with stamps. So each stamp, I believe, was $1 as well. But stories go on. All right? I just told you like a little version of, you know, a small version, a small clip of my first 2 weeks in prison. All right. There's plenty more to go. All right. And then, of course, after like almost 2 weeks of being over there, getting used to these guys, so now you meet friends and they tell you, okay, you're going over to the east side. So I'm like, the east side? I was like, why can't I just stay here? You know what I mean? I'm used to here now. What the hell do I have to go to the east side now for? Well, you just got to go to the east side. You know what I mean? So now, right away, oh, look, we got these guys over here. We got this guy over here. So right away, I'm hooked up with another group of Italians. And even the guy with the limp got shot to the east side as well. So I had him there. And we had another Italian guy. We had a bunch of Italian guys on that side as well once I got there. But before that, I was trying to see what I could do to stay there. I'm talking to guards, talking to this, see what we could do to stay. You know what I mean? But it didn't work. They shot me over there after 2 weeks, But at the same token, it is what it is. You know what I mean? The prison is prison. But when I got to the other side, it was even crazier. You know what I mean? And it was just a crazy, crazy environment. You know what I mean? It's not an environment that you want to be or ever, want to be in. You know what I mean? So, hey, look, some people just get, for dumb things, get put in there. You know what I mean? Just like, like what I did. You know what I mean? It was stupid because I never became a citizen, and that was the main reason why I got put in there. Otherwise, my crime, I don't even think I would have been in prison if I was a citizen. So they knew I wasn't a citizen, and they made an example of me for being on a show and New Jersey Housewives and blah blah blah, and that was pretty much why they put me in there. Otherwise, I don't think that I would have ended up in there. I mean, before that, I was in business for 25, 30 years, very successful. You know what I mean? I had multiple homes and apartment buildings and property, and I had everything. Yachts, Ferraris, you name it, I had it. All right. But, as soon as the feds come knocking, it's all over. You know what I mean? They could really ruin your life. And those are people that you do not want in your life. When the United States of America comes knocking at your door and says, the United States of America versus Joe Giudice or Giuseppe Giudice, you're like, what the hell? But it's real. When they come, they don't stop until they put you in prison. And that's their goal. All right. Not too many people stay out of prison when the U.S. government comes knocking at your door. So it's very difficult that, you stay out of prison when you end up in there. And there's so many guys that go in there, study law, become better than the damn lawyers outside. Damn lawyers outside are worth a shit. But the damn inmates in there study so hard to get out to see how they could do, and that's what keeps them going. These guys sometimes, some of them have 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years. You know what I mean? So what do? They go to the law library every day, study law, study law, study law. And that's what they do. All right? They just go in and they study law until they become so good at it, they're actually better than the damn lawyers. And after a long period of time, they just keep filing appeal after appeal after appeal after appeal till finally somebody pays attention and, they actually get in court. I remember there was this one guy. I mean, and that's another story. That's when I get to the east side. But I mean, I can't talk about everything in one. I only do a half hour a week. So I think we're going to wrap it up. All right. Then we'll continue this this talk, but I like to mix it up. I don't like to just talk about that. Pick like different topics here and there, and we'll just blend it into everything. You know what I mean? And make it work. All right. I hope you enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll talk to you soon. All right. See you next week. All right.